All right, so now we have the concept of creating a repository down and checking the status. All right, so before we start uh, digging into this and running commands and things like that, I want to talk about the kind of basic workflow for using Git and why and what it's doing. That way we don't get lost along the way. So at the state it's in right now, we have an empty repository. There's absolutely nothing in it. So at this point, the next step would logically be to, add something, say create a file. And once we've done that, even if there's nothing in that file, we now have something in our repository. If we were to run Git Status, it would show us that there is a new file that needs to be added. So the next step then is to add the file, or add the file to staging. I'm going to always call it add the file, but just know that we're adding it to the staging area, which is basically you haven't really done anything to it yet. You haven't put it into the repository yet. You haven't committed it. It's kind of on deck. As far as sports terms, that might be the only sports reference I can make. But so it's just kind of sitting there. And at this point, we could now commit that change to the repository. Or we could do some other work. Say we're not ready to make a commit yet. We want to do some more things. That's fine. It's just kind of sitting there waiting for us to commit. If we did want to commit this file, well, then that would be the next step. Okay, now once we've committed, we've created a point in history in the version control. And that point gets given a hash, basically a long string of characters that is the unique identifier for this particular thing we've done. And in this case, this thing we've done is created a file and committed it. And with that hash, we now have a reference. If we, for whatever reason, wanted to come all the way back, say later on, a week from now, we decide we want to go all the way back to when I created this file. We could revert back to this point in time with that hash, that ID. Now, you're not going to remember the hash because it's a long, kind of random set of characters. And there's ways to give those hashes or these commits a more friendly name, which we would get into way further down the road if we do it all. But we have what's called a Git log that we can go through and we can find those hashes. So you don't need to remember them. What's important, most important, is when you're committing to put a message with that commit. And I'll show you how to do that. And that way, when you go look through your log, you're trying to find that moment in time when you added this file. If you put a decent message in there, and by decent, it could be as simple as added first file, something like that. But then that was the point in time that this happened. Anyways, this is kind of the most basic thing you could do at the beginning of a repository. This isn't actually what you have to do, but odds are you're going to need to create a file and add it. After that point, you'll be doing things like creating files, removing files, and modifying files. So your workflow from that point on is going to be change something, could be one of these things. And when you do change something, as soon as you've changed it, you've saved it, Git knows that you have manipulated something. And when you run a Git status, it's going to say you added this, you edited this, or deleted. Or I think their terms actually are create, modify, and remove there to clear up any confusion there. So you've changed something. The next step is possibly change other things. Then once you're ready to commit this change, and we'll get into why you would commit and what when I say ready, what that means in a little bit here. But once you are in that position where you're ready to commit something, then you would add it. And this could be one file you want to add, or maybe you made several changes, you've added a bunch of files and made some changes. You want to add all of that. You could add all of that to be committed. You could add part of what you've changed to be committed, leaving some other things unstaged, and that's fine. But for simplicity here, we'd add all that to staging. Commit those changes to the repository. And again, changes being adding, removing, deleting, creating, modifying, removing, any of those things have now been added. You have a new moment in time with a new hash to reference this moment in time. And hopefully you put in a nice comment. So if you wanted to find this moment in time, you can.